Portland International Airport and local hospitals on alert for Ebola. The virus is in the U.S. What are the chances it'll come here?
We know that it's not zero.
What happens if an infected person steps off a plane and comes into contact with lots of people? Welcome to KOIN 6 News at 11. I'm Ann State.
I'm Jeff Gianola, and tonight we have learned there is a plan in place here in Portland in case of a nightmare scenario. Now, here are the facts on the first U.S. case. A man is critically ill in isolation tonight in Dallas, Texas with Ebola. He flew to the U.S. from Liberia on September 19th. But the CDC says people on the plane are not at risk because the man was not showing symptoms on the flight. And health officials are tracking down the man's family and friends who could be at risk.
And we're going beyond the headlines tonight to find out what happens if this virus shows up here. Chris Holmstrom live at PDX, where he discovered there is a plan.
Jeff and Ann, this is one of the busiest airports in the country. Go ahead and take a look. It's 11 o'clock at night and a lot of people still out here. And I wanted to know what plans they had in case of an Ebola outbreak. Well, I learned they've had these plans since the SARS outbreak that happened more than a decade ago. More than 13 million people travel through PDX each year. It's an airport with direct flights to many international countries. And tonight, they've been watching the Ebola outbreak closely. What is the Portland airport doing to make sure that the outbreak doesn't, start at the airport?
Well, we do have a communicable disease response plan at the airport that's designed to assist any passenger that's confirmed to have or suspected to have a serious illness like Ebola.
I found out the response plan starts with the airlines. If they come across an extremely sick person, they notify the airport EMTs.
The EMTs would normally be responding to either an ill passenger, or maybe an airline might contact us to say that a passenger is ill.
I learned the EMTs are on hand 24/7 and are trained in communicable diseases like Ebola. And if the symptoms are present, they're required to contact the Multnomah County Health Department. From there, they'll do the testing and notify the public if necessary. We also went to OHSU to find out how area hospitals are preparing.
One of our parts of our plan is if any patient comes to OHSU emergency department with any symptoms of acute illness, fever, vomiting, diarrhea, then the next question is, have you traveled anywhere internationally? And we keep an updated list of the countries that are affected by Ebola virus.
If that patient says yes, the hospital continues their response plan.
It spans everything from how we triage a suspected patient in the emergency department here, all the way to cleaning and disinfection, to testing, and even to our communication plan.
But experts want people to know that the chance of a U.S. outbreak is low, and that the only way you can get it is if you have direct contact with bodily fluids of a sick person or exposed to contaminated objects. And back out here live, there's still no cure, but it's something researchers are working on around the clock. And at this point, more than 3,000 people have died from the Ebola outbreak in Africa. But doctors say medical resources in the U.S. are far more superior than the ones in Africa. Reporting live at PDX, I'm Chris Holmstrom for KOIN 6 News.